I'm Mike Uyak. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Recipe Redemption. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Today we're going to talk about a tale of two ramekins. Specifically, this ramekin, to start with. From 1974, the Weight Watchers recipe card set, we have the Oyster Bake. Innocent enough sounding. It's pretty simple. Let's take apart the recipe here. Starts off with frozen spinach that you combine with sliced carrots and some lemon zest. It says lemon rind. I chose to mean zest, actually finely grated lemon rind rather than just big chunks of it. Atop which you put some oysters. I think, do I have two in here? I think I have two in here. No, I just have the one. Never mind. Anyway, atop that, you put the oyster on top of that. Then milk, skim milk. This is Weight Watchers after all. Imitation butter flavor and hot sauce. Then you throw all that into a 350 degree oven for 10 minutes. So, milk, imitation butter flavor, and hot sauce is not going to make a thick creamy sauce. It's not going to set up into anything. So, I could already tell you, even before cooking this, that it was going to be, how hot is this? Okay, I'm going to do this. That it was going to be kind of watery. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a good bit of liquid floating around. 10 minutes, I'm not entirely sure is going to be enough to actually cook, thoroughly cook. I think it'll probably be fine for the oyster itself. You don't need a whole lot of heat to fully cook an oyster. And as a matter of fact, you can go way past just done pretty quickly. But the spinach, it's supposed to be thawed and it's room temperature, but with the milk and everything else, assuming everything's close to room temperature, 10 minutes at 350 is not going to heat this up very much. So I'm going to assume I'm going to get raw carrot, mostly raw spinach, floating around in milk. I did not use the imitation butter because I don't want that. I don't want to use that stuff. I'm never going to use it other than for these recipes, and I just prefer not to have it sitting around. So,
are my thawed frozen spinach and some chopped carrots, lemon zest. Here comes the oyster. Just going to do one here since it's kind of big. And then I didn't have imitation butter flavoring because I don't really want to keep that stuff around the house. So I actually melted some butter in some milk, pour that on along with some hot sauce. And as the recipe says, 10 minutes at 350 degrees.
it's so watery. Okay, got a little bit of oyster, got some of the spinach, got some of the carrot. Yeah, that is some raw carrot. Hot sauce immediately hit the back of my throat. Made me want to cough. Yeah, spinach and carrot is effectively raw. Oyster is a little underdone. See how firm this big bit is. It's underdone. I might get food poisoning from this, but we'll see. It's fresh out of the jar and then straight into the oven, so probably hasn't had time to really develop anything, but it's only because I actually like oysters. I'm taking another bite. Okay. Chunks of raw carrot or a textural sticking point. The raw spinach really isn't doing anything to me other than sticking in my teeth. The underdone oyster is not great. The sauce is a nothing sauce. It does not. It doesn't cooperate. They don't play well together. The hot sauce is all by itself. The milk is just sort of nothing. The butter sort of disappears. It's there, but yeah, I'm not taking another bite of that. So we can do better. But what are we trying to achieve here? Now you have the spinach, the oyster, something somewhat creamy with some spicy flavors to it. What we're doing is oysters Rockefeller, only in a ramekin or casserole or whatever. If you're going to do oysters Rockefeller, I mean, you're usually doing it as an appetizer anyway, so everyone's getting one or a small portion of it. So, do you really need to worry about the little bit of fat that comes with the cheese that normally is put on top of oysters Rockefeller? I don't think so. Live a little. If you get an extra couple of grams of fat in your daily intake of your diet, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So, let's make oysters Rockefeller in a ramekin.
Here we have our oysters for our oyster Rockefeller, and for some reason I didn't film sauteing the spinach and carrot, but here they are pre-cooked with some Worcestershire sauce, lemon zest, lemon juice, some anise, and some salt. That goes into an oven for 30 minutes at 350. Once it comes out, sprinkle on some cheddar cheese and some breadcrumbs, and back into the oven for about another 10 minutes just to melt the cheese and kind of toast the breadcrumbs.
Okay, so after a full 40 minutes in the oven, that is cooked. Okay, see if I'm not going to burn the crap out of myself doing this. Here we go. So, nice crusty top, melty cheese, definitely cooked, and also, the spinach was pre-cooked, so probably could have wrung out the spinach a little, because this is also still a little bit watery, and some is going to come out of the oyster. Speaking of which, I should probably get some on the actual fork itself here. Okay, so what I would say is you'll probably, if you want to make this yourself, you'll probably want to actually cut the oysters up into bite-sized pieces before putting in the ramekin, because otherwise you have to hunt for it and then chop it up. It's not a pretty dish, but I can smell the Worcestershire coming off of this. So there's just more going on, and it's fully cooked. So I think I went a little heavy on the lemon juice, but The seasonings, the anise is not overpowering. That's one spice that I tend to shy away from because it can suddenly turn everything licorice flavored. But it's just enough to give you a little something. Um, so it's not quite cream spinach, but you know it's fully cooked, and with the dairy in there, it heads in that direction. The Worcestershire, like I said, is evident. The lemon, like I said, is a little bit too strong, but it's okay. And I like the little bit of richness that the cheese brings that just skim milk is not going to do. This is ultimately a much better dish. Requires a little bit of tweaking, but ultimately I could recommend doing this. And as a first course, this ramekin is kind of big, so you know, 3 oysters fit in the bottom. If you wanted to serve this as a sort of an appetizer slash first course, if you have a smaller ramekin, that would work, and just have like a single oyster and a mound of the spinach mixture on top, or serve as a larger first course before a main if you're doing, you know, a 3-course dinner. I would say some people don't like the texture of cooked frozen spinach, in which case actually turning that into a creamed spinach might not be a bad idea. Actually cooking the spinach and the vegetables, all of the, you know, sauces and seasonings together, and then, you know, sticking in a food processor or a blender, smoothing it out, maybe adding a little bit of butter, might not be a bad idea. That way you don't have to deal with, you know, strands and chunks of spinach. But otherwise, you know, I recommend making this for your next dinner party or fancy night in. So what do you think? Have you done anything like a oysters Rockefeller casserole? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you would have done to this. Maybe a little hot sauce to this actually wouldn't be bad. Put that hot sauce back in. But I'm enjoying it as it is. So, as always, like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. And I'll see you next time here on Recipe Redemption. Thanks for watching.